Hello, folks. This is Superfan Jason Ray Huff here, and welcome to the show. Um, Welcome to the first edition of Jason Ray Huff's blog here for this week. I get to talk about a lot of things today, and in professional wrestling. First thing I'm going to talk about last Friday night show, NWA Texoma Wrestling. Um, it was a pretty good, awesome show, and it's had all the matches start out with the NWA Texoma Wrestling saw Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton complains about the fans. And I wasn't there around December, but the fans turned on Andy Dalton and brought out this wrestler by the name Tomahawk, and it was a pretty good match till the fans decided die Dalton, die Dalton, die, and it was kind of a little, in my opinion, hurtful for Andy Dalton's sake. But you fans made a choice to boo him, and Andy Dalton won't forgive for what y'all done. And I think Andy Dalton is the best wrestler, and he deserves to get a rematch for the NWA Texoma title belt. Texoma Texas champion, excuse me. Anyway, then they show Mike Fox versus Jermaine Johnson, Jermaine Johnson, and that match was pretty good, and glad to see Mike Fox back. I would love to see Mike Fox get signed by the WWE or TNA or Ring of Honor. He needs to rise up to the game, and Mike Fox is the best wrestler. Then they start out with a tag team match with Teddy Hart and Jerome Daniels against the Dark Circle, Tim Storm and APOC. And that match was a pretty good match, to say the least. And that matchup, but I know it was a pretty good match between tag team matchup when um, Teddy Hart got APOC in the sharpshooter, and Tim Storm was fixing to choke Jerome Daniels out until Storm telling Teddy Hart to let go. Yeah, he sort of let go and attacking him. But however, the Dark Circle won that match, a fair match. So then after that was intermission time. Then it had intermission, and Andy Dalton come out and tell the fans, complain about the fans until Matthew Palmer, on the other hand, went and Gigolo James Johnson starts selling shirts of Die Dalton Die shirts and tell everybody to buy the shirts. And Dalton got really upset, and if the fans want to buy his shirt, he's gonna slap them. And suddenly, out of nowhere, um, Brianna came out and bought a shirt, and Andy Dalton, talking, uh, telling everybody, yeah, you wear my shirt, you're gonna get slapped, and guess what? Andy Dalton slapped Brianna for wearing his shirt, and that was an intermission right there, the worst scene. But anyway, on to the other matches. Frankie D'Angelo defeated Aaron Neal in a pretty good matchup. Then you got the main event, simply inaccessible H2H, uh, Andy, Gigolo James Johnson and Matthew Palmer, the NWA Texoma Tag Team Champion, versus Nitro Rabbi's team of Charlie Haas and Dan Griffith. That was a pretty good match until some fan carrying a crunch or a cane trying to intimidate Mr. Nitro Rabbi. But before all the matches get started, yeah, Gigolo James Johnson, um, please do not accidentally throw the sign over my mom's head. But anyway, and not only that, please don't throw the sign periodly. Give it to some ring crew or somebody. You almost knocked my mom's head out, but anyway, um, during that match, um, it was a pretty good tag team match until we got new tag team champions. My boys, Nacho Rabbis, Dan Griffith, and Charlie Haas. The NWA Texoma Wrestling Show was pretty good, and it was a pretty good show. Next month is Law Enforcement thing coming up. Law Enforcement Appreciation Night. So anybody who works on the police force or bring somebody who works on the police force, you know, they could get in free. But anyways, yours truly, Superfan Jason, and I'll tell you what, next month it's gonna be for the NWA Texoma Rose title. It's gonna be Claudette versus Brianna. Long-awaited rematch right there. I would love to see the rematch, and it'll be a pretty good match. So, anyways, this is yours truly, Superfan Jason. Check me out there at NWA Superfan at the show coming out at NWA Texoma Wrestling Show, February 20th. And you could check me out. You could on Facebook and on Twitter. I could ask all pro wrestling questions. So once again, for this week for the NWA Texoma review, it's the Superfan Jason Ray Up signing off.